Hey everybody, I had to interrupt my vacation to the Dominican Republic to speak on this issue. This is the second part of the recent Ifa initiates dancing with transgender. Now, for those who don't know in the U.S. audience, the Ifa faith in Nigeria, in the Nigerian tradition, there are clear verses of Ifa that do not support people who are homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender to be members of the faith. Meaning they cannot be all orishas, they can't be priest of the Orisha faith, or Orishas, let's put it that way, Yemaya, Chango, Batala, and they most definitely not, it's even more strict to become a Babalao. It's not allowed. It's prohibited completely. They're not supposed to do it. There are reports that are people who have initiated who are homosexual, and they're violating the rules. It's just simple as that. There's no, as we say in Spanish in Puerto Rico, no hay trueque. There's no negotiation on that. It's completely prohibited. But in Cuba, there's been reports and there's been an understanding that there might be a very, let me say very, like 10 times, very small minority of babalaos who have been initiated, who are homosexuals and have hidden their homosexuality. Some of them have been caught, and as a result, they're automatically disqualified from any practice of Ifa. Now, to give kind of some of the history behind this, in Cuba, the Ifa priesthood, at least until 1950, there was only 450 babalaos. It starts at 1830 with the first babalao at the China, which is Remigio Herrera or Barameri, and 4 other patriarchs, let's put it that way: Joaquín Cadiz, Ogunda Tetura, Francisco Villalonga Obeate, Carlos Hadepio Waniwoka, and Olugere, Jose Aconcon Oyecunmeri, along with at the China or Barameri. And these guys pretty much began reproducing babalaos. Every one of them had like 4 or 5 babalaos, and then the next generation came around the 1900s and had babalaos and so forth. So as they little bit, slowly but surely, began to everybody initiate 4 or 5 babalaos, no more than that usually. By the 1950s, there was 450. There was an explosion of initiations after the 60s, 70s, and mostly after 1980 and 1990s with the fall of the Soviet Union in Cuba. And it became kind of a commercial religious tourism to Cuba to be initiating babalaos. And as babalao initiation began to expand both within Cuba and with the creation of what's called the olofin icon. I am an olofin icon. I'm an olofista. It became easier for people to reproduce babalaos without fiscalización, without supervision from their elders. And this has brought a lot of harm to the faith, because we've had a lot of people who are criminals, people who are drug dealers, people who have no intelligence, and sadly, homosexual people initiated in the faith, but they hide that part. I'm going to continue in part 3 to explain why is this important and how does the history of this relate to what we're seeing today in that video in part 1. Continuing on, so part 3 of the explanation behind that, because I know people are trying to wonder what do we have here. So homosexuals or LGBT people in the Afro-Cuban tradition are allowed to receive what's called the first 2 initiations. Guerreros, warriors, which is the receiving of certain orishas for your protection, and they can receive mano de rula, the discovery of their life destiny in the faith. After that, they become santeros. They're allowed, in our particular practice, become all orishas. In the Nigerian tradition, they're not allowed to do that. But in the Afro-Cuban tradition and in the Nigerian tradition, they cannot become babalaos. As I was saying in the previous video where we left it off, you know, I was talking with an elder, one of the top elders in Havana, about this, literally in October 2022. And he was lamenting the seriousness, the lack of honor in a lot of babalaos these days. There used to be a ceremony in the Afro-Cuban tradition where they would make the possible new initiates. Nobody would just say, oh, I want to become a babalao. It doesn't work like that. It would have to be suggested to you because of the oracle selecting you first. And the babalaos had to make a determination that you were a straightforward man in every sense of the word. You had to be a good father. You had to be a good husband. You had to be a good masculine, heterosexual man that was investigated. You had to be a good brother, meaning good in your family. You had to be good in your community. And if you passed the test of these interviews, each babalao would give you a seed. You need 21 seeds to initiate as a babalao. You would get 16 seeds from 16 different babalaos, and then the last 5 would be completed by your elder. If one of the babalaos said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not allowing this guy to become a babalao, he wouldn't become a babalao. There was strict control of who were the priests. It wasn't just, hey, I got money, let me just initiate. And that's sadly what's been happening lately. Now, why am I angry? And not only me, I just posted this to 100, I actually better said, somebody in my forum of 160 babalaos around the world posted this video, and we're all enraged about this. The video depicts a man who just recently initiated. When the Babalaos initiate on the 7th day, that's called the Ijorje ceremony. Once they finish the Ijorje ceremony, they're dressed in ceremonial white clothing. They put the what's called the collar de mazo, the beaded necklaces, which is an insignia of the initiation. And as you can see in the videos, this man is dancing with transgendered men or homosexual men literally right after the consecration. I mean, it would be the equivalent of going for communion or going to your first baptism in the Catholic Church and all of a sudden coming out right in the middle of the church in your best church-going clothes and dancing with transgendered, with doing sexual moves, having a transgender man touch your mouth like that in a sexual way. It's absolute profanation, and it's not allowed. We are trying to find out who the heck this man is and who are the godparents, because that, you know, what you're witnessing in this video, that's absolutely super 100% prohibited and taboo. And the man is pretty much not going to be able to practice Ifa once his name is known. He'll never become a Babalao and work with it. It's going to be completely prohibited for him.
Who the fuck are you telling to sit down, bitch? Do not come on my page telling me to fucking sit down when I reposted shit that he posted. And the conversation I'm having is between his Babalao, the fake one that initiated both of you fuckers, under false pretenses simply to scam you, dumbasses. And then turn around and that same Babalao that initiated you motherfuckers went and said about the man dancing, not even having sex with, but dancing with a trans individual.
So homosexuals or LGBT people in the Afro-Cuban tradition are allowed to receive what's called the first two initiations. Guerreros, warriors, which is the receiving of certain orishas for your protection, and they can receive mano de rula, the discovery of their life destiny in the faith. After that, they become santeros. They're allowed in our particular practice to become all orishas. In the Nigerian tradition, they're not allowed to do that. But in the Afro-Cuban tradition and in the Nigerian tradition, they cannot become babalaos.
First of all, learn to comprehend what was actually said. I didn't say he had sex for money. Next thing, you just recently posted a video of you saying that you're the one who brought the fill in the egg for protection to TikTok, which is funny because I was actually on a live weeks, maybe 1 or 2 weeks before you even posted that class. Where I was teaching mags how to do the very same thing for protection and for imprisonment, which was taught to me by my grandmother. So one, you did not create it, nor did you bring it to TikTok. The man left you because he's gay.
So then it's like, okay, well, I must be gay because I really enjoy being with other men in a sexual way. And then something happens. They start to realize, oh, I'm not really gay. So then there's this whole, well, I must be bisexual. Now I realize, no, I'm not really gay. I just want to live my life and I want to be with a woman. So there's the coming out as straight.
And you are on my page. I get on here tipsy and run my mouth. You get on here sober and lie to people and pretend that you're broke for Christmas, insinuating that you need financial help while all the while you use that money to go pay for initiation. You remember when you came onto the panel on my live, right, with Mercedes? You know, like maybe 10, 15 minutes before you and Ryan showed up on that live, the whole live before that was about you and Ryan. And actually Bruja B and another counterpart of yours. And the intent of Mercedes was to bind you. Somehow you were crowned Obatala. There's a way that you talk to people amongst the community of ATR. And when you decide to go against that, you decide to play a game and write a check that your ass can't cash. And your Babalao is a fucking fraud. Since you wanted to talk to me that way, so disrespectfully, unwarranted, and the conversation I'm having is between his Babalao, the fake one that initiated both of you fuckers,